Urban. Urban. Would you believe me if I told you I didn't think of that? Oh, of course it is. Yeah, I went with a. Rawhide. I don't think it's physically possible for me to play that song and not play this one. Do you see a finger on the trigger? Because I don't. Think about the consequences of your actions. I cannot express to you how much Aretha Franklin means to me. I love her so fucking much. And like, after I kill Hitler, I'm just gonna have to wait. Like, if that's my only chance to go back in time, I'm just gonna have to murder Hitler and then wait for Aretha Franklin to have her first concert. I'm gonna fucking be there. Her like the passion that comes out of her. I can't. Ugh. Doing things down now. So, yeah, I realize I'm just playing Aretha Franklin and not saying anything. I'm so sorry. Doing things I don't. I also love that everyone in this movie is so casually ready to start dancing and singing to the backup. But, like, in this scene, Jake and Elwood, they're just sitting there. They're just waiting. This is not their moment. That last think. So, I am but a pitiful white boy. There are concepts that are going to be foreign to me forever. And I think that the blues, as a concept, is one of them. But the concept of the blues being more than just a song or a feeling or being sad, like, didn't really click with me until I heard Aretha's Just Ain't Fair. there is something about the way she sings that made me kind of generally get the concept of like, this is more than just one emotion that you're feeling and expressing. Oh God, I just love her so much. Anyways, okay, no more simping. We need to find. So today, we're going to be. Ooh, that's what we're looking for, I guess. We're going to be doing Red Dead Redemption fashion. While I twirled my guns. God, I just love this effect. It's so good. Another concept I don't understand, fashion shows. But it's not for me. It's just not for me. It's fine. Things can be not for me. I can not understand them and still they can exist. So I'm currently trying to get some GIFs that are relevant to this. What the fuck? How's everyone doing tonight? What's new? What's hot? What's happening? What's bumping? All right, I'm gonna save this. OBS. The list of GIFs is getting awfully long in my OBS, and I think it's time for a purge. I'm so sorry. Oh boy. Oh, also music. More music. Somebody give me some some runway music. I'm gonna go with the absolute like basic of basic. Like this is the one that you play when you want to like it should be automatic in everyone's head when you think of like walking a runway. This should be one of them. I believe. So I need more. I need more as we're doing this. What's with the face? Urban, no. Urban, be happy. Be joyous. This man owns land in 2 countries. Is he wealthy? Perhaps. Is he rich? Sounds like it. I need. No! Fuck! Fuck that. All right. If you tell me that Technotronic is YouTube, I'm not using a copyrighted service. This stream will be muted as most others. Vogue, true. We're going for on the nose right now. A bit insensitive that you would mention noses, as I don't have one, but that's fine. That's fine. Can't get it straight. Get your booty on the floor now. God, I had more like runway music. I'm sorry, I saw the concept of a nose in the curves and the sway of your sultry perfect al dente. Can I, one, quote you on that, two, have that etched into my tombstone? That'd be amazing. I know these aren't strictly runways, but, you know, it's the vibes, right? JD, that's sound effects edited in to make people believe that I'm a human behind the microphone. It's post-processing. It's complicated, but... That is Ben Stiller, who is actually a model. But why male models? God, there are so many gifs of people falling on the runway. I feel so bad for them. So we are waiting until my dear friend Scout can join us. And then we shall load up Red Dead and begin this proper. The music will end. But yeah. Has anyone ever been to a fashion show before? George Michael Freedom. George Michael Freedom. All right, that's up next. Yeah, but also Jared Leto can go fuck himself, so. Been to an in one. That's probably not that surprising, but it was in my 20s. Not surprising considering how devastatingly handsome you are, Urban. You have a vibe about you. An aesthetic vibe. One might call that not a vibe, but a physical thing that you can actually measure. But gorgeous nonetheless. I was just talking to my... some of you may know Ann Harsinger and Matt Will Jackson. If you have them, Urban, if you have them and you are not publishing them on Blue Sky, I need that so bad, please. Please make this happen for me. I was just talking with my friend about how incredibly hot Anne and Matt were at their wedding. Like, they were gorgeous, both of them. And it reminded me of this poem that William Shakespeare wrote for his friend? He wrote a poem for his friend that basically went, "You're so hot, please for the love of God, have kids so that your beauty will continue on into the future." It would be cruel to do that. And like, right, Urban? Here's the thing is that like, I'm straight and that's my feelings towards a lot of my friends. It's just like, you guys are too hot to like, I get not wanting to have kids, I get it. But like, you're too hot not to. All right, George. Nope, not Fatboy Slim. I've never heard this song before and it's 6 minutes long, so here we go. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. Oh, Barbie. I should include you. 1 second. Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. I have heard this song before. Oh, it's bumping. There was at least another video with the models, trying to remember the other ones. It was pretty much his fuck you to everyone after going out on his own. There's a Twitch channel I watch that replicates various areas of MTV. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. I'm about to post a GIF here that I might have to try and do on my own, which is a bummer because I can't show you via video. Sorry, we're back. Fuck, I'm gonna be listening to this song for weeks. Okay, so not this one. This is Barbie. Barbie's gonna go down here. Actually, Barbie and... Nope. Yeah, nope. Barbie's going to be good here. And then... Open that. Okay. This right here. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, not hard to execute. Doable, but it's the style, and I mean, I could... If you gave me, like, an hour to practice that, I could probably do it, like, with some pop to it, but it is doable. Hold on. Sorry. That's an interesting camera cut, though. It is because it's entirely doable to do that pop-up quickly. Huh. You know what? Here's the other thing is I ain't doing that shit in heels, so... You know, I've never actually given a solid go in heels, mostly because I've never existed around heels that fit me. The last time I, like, wore heels for any amount of time was when I was playing Anti-M in the middle school play, which I fucking killed, by the way. I killed it, obviously. You know what? I'm throwing in Plague Doctor. Because the Plague Doctor can fucking get it. Damn, this song fucks! Oh, it's so good. It's possible, but her hop after the cut... Yeah, I agree. But it's so doable so quickly. No, Pasta, the Plague Doctor can't fucking get it. That's the point of the masks. If he can't get it, then why is he so fucking sick? Oh, you know what? I know who's missing here. I've been trying to think of who was missing. Now let's just find... Hmm. Oh, is it not gonna... Hmm. I don't know what that means. I'll tell you what, one whole sort of colander. Oh shit, I didn't pick another song. Fuck. But you know what? YouTube's got me. YouTube has Annie Lennox rocking on broken glass. Mwah, it's perfect. So I was in a parking lot of a very bougie grocery store at like 6 in the morning. And this song didn't come on anywhere. It appeared in my head like a vision from God. And I had nothing in my brain but that song. I swear to God, I think if I didn't listen to that song in that moment, I would have died. I don't know why. It hit me that hard. Also, if you want to talk about a buck wild video, Hugh Laurie and John Malkovich are in this video. And Annie Lennox is like engaged with, married to the Hugh Laurie character in this. And this is like a French Renaissance era music video. Everyone's in gorgeous dresses because Hugh Laurie was working on Blackadder at the time. And so they basically just took everyone from Blackadder and were like, let's make a video for Annie Lennox. But Lennox is like freaking out about how much she's in love with John Malkovich in this video, to the point of like weird obsession. And it's so good. Was it near Dangerous Liaisons was made? I don't know what Dangerous Liaisons. Okay, so Dangerous Liaisons was made in 1988. And Lennox Walking on Broken Glass was made in 1992. But like, I'm sure the same people were involved. Like, because a lot of like the dress and stuff is just absurdly good. The video is based on Dangerous. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. God, I wish I had like a better gif of Ruby Rod like walking. I also want a good... Can I do that? No. I'm looking for a good West Wing follow camera. Best I can do is this one. God, I wish I could hit that note. I wish I had the pipes of Mika. I don't. Dear God in heaven, I don't. But do I wish I did? Ugh. All right, now we're just crowding the living shit out of... Okay, next up. Nope. 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 Oh, God, we need another one. Hold on. Runway music. Why the fuck is Blondie's One Way or Another showing up? That is not runway music. Am I looking up the right thing? Should there be like another like... I'm going to do a follow camera in my apartment, but I will trip and bust my face so fast. If we ever happen to be in the same place at the same time, I will happily be like your steady cam. God, like a West Wing follow cam through PAX while you and somebody else is talking about something like not serious at all, but in a serious tone. I think I need to make that happen. Oh, by the way, there is absolutely nothing. I will crawl on my hands and knees if I have to make it to PAX Unplugged. Okay, in Vogue. See, this is what happens when you let a white boy from the Midwest playlist your runway show. See, I'm gonna need like, okay, so yeah. I think my friend, who is the most like country boy that you ever met, we were playing. I can't remember what game it was. We were playing something where it was capture the flag, and in his country accent, he was just like, "Ain't never gonna get it," and we all fucking lost our minds. No one could hold the controller straight. He made it all the way to the fucking finish line uncontested because. Jesus Christ. What else we got? You could have solved this problem by just typing in Beyonce into, and then just throwing it onto the screen, but. I guess I should boot up Red Dead. Sorry, Chad just sent me a message. All right. Trying to decide if Savage Garden's Crash and Burn is the right vibe. I'll leave that up to you, chat, because I don't know. I'm so sorry. Maybe 2026 is your PAX year. Who knows? Oh, it is. Oh no, I will make it. Who are you? You're someone I followed. I shouldn't be questioning that. Okay, let's do this. I completely forgot that I had guns in my hands. This is great. Yeah, so the game plan is for PAX U next year. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm not going to enforce. I think I'm not built for enforcement. There is no fucking way I was going to interrupt that. Does Macy Gray have something that might work? Still, why didn't you call me? I try. I don't know why Macy Gray came to my mind, but... Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares to you. You should look up the Richard Cheese cover of this. It's phenomenal. All right, I'm going to bring in Scout. Damn, the bass in this is just tasty. The boys are waiting, la 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 la. It's too cold outside? All right, we're going to have a... Hi, Scout. I should probably mention that we are now live on air.
Hello.
Hello. I probably should have, muted, gone into a lobby, told you that, brought you in, but I didn't, because I'm an amateur.
No, it's screw it, we're doing it live, which is something I'm very used to. So
cool. All right, so this is Yeehaw Scooter. And I think we're unfortunately going to have to turn down Milkshake and begin Red Dead. I'm so sorry, but the action will continue later. So, Scooter. Tell me, around the 1800s, what do you know about the fashion of the 1800s? Between the 1850s, maybe 1900, around there, maybe a little earlier.
Great question. I did a lot of historical costuming in a previous life, and so I know a considerable amount. I also worked in an antique store that specialized in the wild, wild west from the eras of 1815 to 1875. So
perfect.
Enough to make up the rest.
I do wonder, from 1875 to the 1900s, how much fashion actually changed. Because, a lot can happen in, I'm going to do the math, 25 years. So I'm curious, and maybe, I don't know if you can shed any light on that, because I know that, you're about 1875, so maybe not past that. But Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of takes place in that era. Where, industrialization is really starting to steamroll. I didn't realize that steamroll. You get it. Not mean to make that a pun. Hold on, let me get us into game time. There we go.
I apologize for any background noises. I do have a corgi at home, and those of you who know corgis know they love to talk and make lots of noise when they consume food. So
most of the audience here is used to Noodles just suddenly barking out of nowhere, so it's fine.
Nah, fair.
Maple made a really good point. There was a little economic hiccup in the 1870s that would have delayed fashion changes. Just a scotch, just a small one. All right, so here, I'm going to share my screen to you. I got to tell you, the vibes of this stream changed so drastically. I wouldn't be surprised if the audience had whiplash, because we went from The start of this was runway music from like the 80s and 90s.
Sure.
And now we are going way back to the 80s and 90s. But 1880 and 1890s.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the bummer thing, and I've said this before in my cyberpunk fashion show streams. I have no fashion sense. All of my clothing is based off of function and not aesthetic. And I desperately need help with that. But
like in the real world or in
the
video
real world.
games?
Like I can't. I cannot.
Okay.
I cannot dress myself nicely to save my own life. I can dress myself to survive horrible natural conditions.
Sure.
From hot to cold. I just... Also, if you ask me to tuck in my shirt, I'm going to scream. I haven't tucked in my shirt in 5 years. I'm never going back.
See, tucking in the shirt with these clothes is a necessity specifically because of suspenders, which was the only way, really, to travel at the time, because you had to wear a gun belt on the outside, and that did not hold up your pants.
No, it did not. And I kind of wondered why the gun belt hangs like this. Until I actually started wearing a sword belt. Then I got it.
Yes. Yep. It is a very unique experience to look at the mechanics of that and go, that doesn't look right. And then you put one on and you go, oh, that is right.
Yeah. And like, you know, for the weight carry on like the right side of Arthur, let me see if I can get Arthur into the light here. It's nighttime in a very bad neighborhood. Arthur doing his absolute best to just aura farm this man. God, I love you, Arthur. No. Put the gun away. Put the knife away. We're not stabbing anyone yet. Oh, God, I can't remember how to put the knife away. If I stab someone, I'm very sorry. Don't take cover. T, X, Z. There we go. Got it. Nope. Don't got it anymore. This. That's how we do it. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So that's that slouch, that hang to the right. It's also incredibly handy when you have to kneel, because that the belt will slide up your waist and sit comfortably in a way that you can like access all of your stuff and it won't be digging into you. I think what I want to do first, because right now we are in Saint Denis, which is the like New Orleans kind of style city. It's the most industrialized area in the game. And I think what I want to do is go to the camp that Arthur's gang is currently hanging out in and take a look at all of the fashion there, because there's a very wide breadth of clothing.
Sure.
Have you played this game at all?
You've customized Arthur, correct?
I have, yes.
Excellent. Well, I will say that while you may doubt yourself as far as clothes go in the real world, you have an excellent choice in hats. Arthur's currently wearing a traditional cattleman's hat, and it is the preferred hat of this era. You don't see a lot of the classic cowboy hats until a little bit later, and those were more flash than they were practicality.
Yeah. Yeah, the big, like, sweeping wide curves and stuff like that. I gotta tell you, I spent so much time with Arthur just for the hat, because there was a bunch of hats in here that just don't work. Like, putting Arthur into a newsboy cap or a bowler hat, like, with a right weapon pairing, can work. So, like, bowler hat with, like, the semi-automatic pistols in this game, in the city alone, work. Because you've kind of got that, like, early gangster vibe. But
sure,
it just doesn't work anywhere else. You'd also have seen more bowler hats. Yes, you would have. Though I'm not sure. Do you, like, were bowler hats popular I think this guy's gonna fall off his horse dead. Or are you just drunk? Never mind. Okay, we're good.
Bowler hats were quite popular at this time period. They were more popular as a fashion statement than anything else. And they were popular in this way more specifically because they sort of match. It was a class thing, really. If you could afford a bowler, you didn't really have to work outdoors, because it would be the same as like when the baseball cap was invented. It was invented for a very specific reason, to keep the sun out of your eyes while you were playing baseball. Now it's a fashion statement. The bowler hat started this, the cowboy hat and the cattleman's hat, all these different variations were started practicality sake, and then became fashion statements as the brim became narrower, because it meant you really didn't have to be outside in the sun. It wasn't meant to keep the sun off of you.
So I am taking in. I just forgot how much I love this game and how easy it is to like settle in.
It is a beautiful game. To answer your question, I have not played either Red Dead. However, I have a friend, the friend for whom I worked at the antique store, a very dear friend of mine, was the manager of that antique store for 7 years, and she has logged easily 1,000 hours in between both games. She adores these games. Absolutely, I'm reading chat. Absolutely, a banker would wear a bowler hat.
Yeah. So, my friend had an interesting theory about hats, in that, like, with the invention of the car and the invention of things like the big push for convenience, culture in the world, basically. Like, hats just kind of went by the wayside because you're getting in and out of a car, and then you're immediately going into a business, and so you didn't really need to bring the hat with you. Yeah.
It's true. Hats really played 3 roles in society at the time. 1, it was a clear indication of who you were and what you did. 2, it played a practical role. Most people did not want direct sun on their heads. It was not a fashion statement at the time to be tan. Starting with Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, lead was used to make yourself very pale, and that tradition of being pale as a sign of wealth and privilege continued well into the early 1900s. Being tan really doesn't show up as being sort of an attractive thing, kind of ironically, until like the era of the spaghetti western. Like in the 50s and 60s, we see, beautiful Italian beauties on stage and screen, and all of a sudden people like being tan.
Yeah.
So it keeps the sun off of you. It tells people who you are and what you do. And it's a fashion statement, which is an important part of any person's life. Being distinct from other people is very important.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we've hit a bit of a snag here. I was worried that this might happen. There is an event in this game that I, in good conscience, cannot pass up. It will be very brief, I assure you. I didn't want to make this about like gameplay. I really want to make this about the fashion. But there is a fashion faux pas going on over here, and you'll understand what I'm talking about when we get to it. And you know what? I'm just gonna use the quick solution to this one. You're gonna have to forgive me for this. Oh wait, no, I don't want this. Bye. Go on, run. Go on. Get out. Get. Damn vermin, be gone! What? Get. All right, there we go. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that.
Goddamn hooded rodents. I'll kill all you bastards.
Now, that's a group of people who have terrible fashion sense.
Terrible fashion sense.
Among other things.
Among many other things. I mean, and God, you want to be an intimidating group, and you choose pointy white hats? Fucking dorks. It's the dunce cap. Come on. John F. Kennedy killed the hat, but I'm not sure how true that is. Apparently, Kennedy never wore hats, and since Kennedy was a popular president, influenced average citizens and other rich people to ditch their hats. It's probably a multitude of reasons, and I'd also really buy the like, not buy. I believe the tanned skin theory. Mostly like because, and like we see it now today, reflected where it's like. Back in the day when you were out in the sun working your ass off, and you got a tan, it was an image that you were poor and had to work outside. Now, the real good jobs are inside. And now that you can afford to be tan, or like all the jobs are inside now. And so now that you can afford to be tan, getting a tan is the thing.
Yeah, having the luxury of spending your time outside means something. It's the same reason why outdoor gear is such a hot commodity, and people often live in very fancy outdoor activewear who don't actually participate in any outdoor hobbies.
Yep. Patagucci, my favorite is Patabronia.
One of my friends in high school had a sweatshirt that said Patagucci across the front. I loved that.
So our camp isn't here. Hey guys, where the fuck is everybody? How early in this game am I? Sorry, give me a second. Story, load game. Thank God I have 15.
I am also not sure if John F. Kennedy killed the hat, but I like the idea that maybe he was responsible. Also, yes, Action Economist, there are some photographic evidence that Billy the Kid wore a bowler at least part of his life, and I believe that was a fashion statement on his part.
You want to check with your doctor if you have Patagucci. Gross. Okay, so we're not here. Are we in... where the fuck... Okay, sorry, we're just gonna have to ride around and keep talking while we do this. Also,
oh, yeah.
I would like to briefly mention the state of the horse that I'm riding, which is very, like... Unfortunately, this animal was not treated well before I got to it. Don't worry. The people who made this horse suffered themselves. And now I am reviving this horse. A lot of the injuries on the horse do get better over time, which is really nice. But you just brush them, feed them, take care of them. It's nice. But
not a huge fan of the way they've got the movement going in the tail, which is not the way horse tails move, but all right.
So this tail in particular is the braided tail. And like, yeah, no, you're right. That's not usually how they move. The other tail models do look a little more realistic. Oh, fuck off, guys. I don't have time for this. I have a fashion show to make. Sorry, those are former Confederate soldiers. They can starve in the woods or whatever. Or, you know what? They can die now if they want, I guess. While I'm not changing my direction, but... Downsy goesies, downsy goesies.
Maple Monarchy says tanned, negative, lower class working outside versus tanned, positive, upper class can afford to go on vacation at the beach. Yes. Which is also why people delineate the phrase farmer's tan now, because now it's you gotta point out when somebody's lower class and tan.
Where's the last motherfucker? I think one of the coolest things that SSX3 ever had was the radio announcer who, like, out of nowhere would just be like, remember, kids, goggle tans are cool. And they fucking are. So are farmer stands.
Good girl.
I mean,
You good girl?
I had to point this out to somebody who was then that amount of time years old when they understood that that's what it meant. But that is where the term redneck comes from.
Yep. I still don't quite know where Hoosier came from. I've heard a lot of theories, but yeah, I don't know where Hoosier came from. But yeah, there's Hoosier, redneck, bumpkin. I don't know what else. Yokel. Yokel's a very interesting one. I don't know where Yokel came from. I promise we're gonna get to the fashion soon. It's somewhere around here. My crew is somewhere. They've absconded.
I enjoy the game for the sake of the game as well, so take your time. I do think the braided tail, like, while the mechanic, the flow of the tail is all wrong, the braiding looks to be a fishtail braid, which would be correct for the way a horse have a tail. Hi, on top of knowing something about historical fashion,
yeah.
I'm also a farmer who has horses.
Yes.
So there is actually skeletal structure to the inside of a horse's tail. It is not just
Fur.
a hank of hair that falls off the butt. There is bone that runs down the top third of the tail, which is one of the reasons that this animation is so off.
When you run your horse really hard, the horse has a tendency to steam during the winter. There's a TikTok of a girl blushing with just the Arthur like praising the horse, because it's just like, good girl, that's a good girl, and it's just like her just like looking down and blushing every time she hears it.
I saw a video of the voice actor talking about recording all of this, and the fact that they called him and they were like, we need to re-record those lines. And he was like, why? And then they played the lines for him, and it was, without context, the filthiest sounding. Like, this is it toned down is where I'm going with this. Is they went back in and toned it all down because of how sexy it sounded.
Incredible. So I'm gonna jump from save to save here because unfortunately I thought I was in act. So there's a movement around this game, which is never leave Act 2. And honestly, I feel like you might be someone who would thoroughly enjoy never leaving Act 2, because it's kind of where the best things happen. Like, you know, things haven't fully gone tits up yet. You know, everyone's kind of somewhat prosperous and somewhat happy. Some bad things have happened, but it's not like Act 3 is where things just fully tumble downhill. Also, as a farmer and someone who has dealt with horses, were I to ride through a small patch of cactus on a horse, I'm going to assume the horse is not going to be happy. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Horses are both the most intelligent being I've ever met and also the silliest little gooses west of the Mississippi. They are very flighty and very nervous, and rightly so. I mean, they are a prey animal, and they are a big body on little tiny leggies, and so anytime something hits one of those legs, they lose it.
It's me, Arthur.
So cactus would not be fun. for
No.
anybody involved.
Okay, because you ride through a lot of cactus, and I think for gameplay's sake, they're like, we're just gonna let that one go because you're gonna be riding a lot through rough.
Have you ever seen like videos of a or known a dog where you've introduced something new to its environment and it just sort of does the like play bow and like gets low to investigate it and is totally freaked out by it?
Yes.
I've seen horses do that with like new flowers and like a cool new rock. Like they're the same. They're just big dog.
Someone, or like, so. Oh, Tilly. Hi, Tilly. I love you, Tilly. Someone, like, so in Uma Musume, which you're aware of, right? Scout?
Sorry. No, repeat the words, because they just ended up
See,
a
this
jumble
happens
in my brain.
every time I mention this. Uma Musume, which is the horse girl anime.
Oh, Pasta, we've had this discussion. I'm not an anime person.
Oh, no. I know,
that would
but
be the problem.
sure.
But no, I'm not familiar.
Someone took the attitudes of a lot of like real life racehorses, particularly one called Gold Ship, and like watched their videos and watched how that horse behaved, and then just was like, okay, what about if that was an anime girl? And trust me, I'm gonna send you a video of the horse Gold Ship, and then I'm going to send you like a couple clips of Gold Ship in the anime, and you're gonna be like, that's 1 for 1, 1 for 1, the goofiest motherfucker on the planet.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Tilly Jackson. She kicks ass. And, I mean, I guess I don't really know what to ask in terms of fashion questions. So if you just want to, like, start rolling with it.
I'm mighty glad to be out of that cold, Mr. Morgan.
But yeah, so this is Susan. That's Tilly. Susan's kind of the head of the camp.
Old for this gallivanting.
Well, what we've got going right now is very much an homage to the Gibson girls, the Harvey girls. This hairstyle that has the big sort of around the face poof with the bun in the back is the quintessential Gibson girl hairstyle. This is kind of late. This is 1890s to the early 1900s, like 1905. By the 19-teens, we're moving further towards, we're splitting the difference and moving towards flappers, so hairstyles are becoming more sleek. But this is very, very period correct for the 1890s. The hair on this woman that's in front of us, it looks like she's got a cameo on, which would be appropriate. It's too big a cameo for this era in time. The jewelry
What is
wasn't
a
quite
cameo?
so large. A cameo is a face carved out of typically ivory, mounted on a colored backing.
Okay, so...
A cameo necklace is where we get the phrase cameo, where you see somebody's face in the
Gotcha.
background of a film. Cameo necklace is that like that profile of a face on a piece of jewelry.
Gotcha.
That was a pretty common piece of jewelry for women to have. They could be made in bulk or they could be made custom. Let's see here. I'm looking at her as she's walking away. She's got a it doesn't look like she's got a lot of structure going on under her garments, which might or might not be traditional depending on the era, the area, in what they could afford. But typically the phrase loose woman comes from the idea that women should never go out without wearing a foundational garment like a corset. So
Gotcha.
a loose woman is somebody who's not wearing a corset. They're quote unquote easy to access.
Interesting.
Whereas a straight laced person is somebody who is wearing a corset that is where the lacing along the back is a perfect straight line, which means it's too tight. They're an uptight person. So on one end of the spectrum, you have straight-laced, and on the other end, you have a loose woman. And somewhere in the middle, you have what would be appropriate for a woman to wear, which is a corset that is catered to their body and is laced appropriately.
Okay.
Hello, Miss O'Shea.
Based on the shape of the women in the game, they're doing their best, but they're also trying to appeal to the modern vision of what a woman should look like in clothes. So she's got a more modern shape than a proper foundational garment would give.
So, a quick question, because...
Something you need, Arthur?
Oh, sorry, Miss O'Shea. I'll leave you alone. We'll talk about Miss O'Shea in a second. So a few of these women, not all of them, are criminals. Like, everyone in this camp is a criminal except for the child over here. There's a child over here, and that asshole. But, like, could you find this on someone who was trying to, like, play a guy? Or, like, pretend to be someone who's going to hook up with someone and then knock them out in the room and take their money? Or would you think that, like, even still, that kind of, like, shape and figure is not something that maybe they would think of back then?
The reason I say that the figure is too modern is not to get too focused on the way women's bodies in media.
Sure.
But the shape of this woman's upper torso is very her chest is very round. In a proper corset, it is flattened and pushed up, like you would see in Ren Fair, effectively, in a Ren Fair gear.
Gotcha.
Ren Fair really oversells it to the point where it's quite cartoonish, how far up, how high we can defy gravity, to quote a popular piece of media. But in this era and time, the look was becoming more sculpted and less flat, but it was still compressive. It was still a compressive garment.
Mr. Strauss,
Gotcha.
you busy, my friend?
I am busy. Sorry.
Mr. Morgan.
Sorry, everyone wants to talk to Arthur.
Everyone wants to talk to you. You're very
Hi,
popular.
Perkabeth, we are doing a Red Dead Redemption fashion show where we're going to talk about the historical... historical? Why does historical always feel wrong in my mouth? Historic aspects of clothing. Now, here is one that I can take just a little bit of. This guy over here, whose name eludes me at the moment, and is not Chicken. Pearson. Pearson was a military man, Navy, dishonorably discharged, currently wearing a knit wool sweater, and, like, in a very classic fashion. Ordinarily, these wouldn't come in black, but for the military, they would dye them. But you don't beat thermal efficiency and water thermal efficiency. Like, when that sweater is wet, it's still going to keep you warm, as opposed to something like cotton. And it's very thick, too, so, like, the outer layer of wool is going to be cold and wet, but the inner layer is going to be warm and wet, and it's going to move that moisture away very quickly via body heat. It's not perfect, but it's definitely one of the, especially at the time, the best thing to wear when you're going somewhere cold and wet, which is why you see a lot of Nordic countries wearing those really, like, big knit wool sweaters. And then I believe Union pants. I don't know.
Yes, those are Union. Blue wool, more likely than not Union. The yellow stripe, the stripe on the outside of the leg, is a color indication of what part of the military you were in. Yellow is cavalry.
Cavalry. Okay. That's interesting, because a lot of his stories don't make sense, and it's kind of alluded to that he's lying a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he said that he was in the Navy at some point. So, like, him saying he's in the Navy but wearing cavalry pants kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It's also at this point in time, I mean, depending on how far post Civil War we are in the narrative, with this game,
Only when I see you.
like overstock was produced specifically in the North. In the South, no. The South was literally hand stitching. Grandma was making your clothes and sending them to you.
Yeah.
But in the North, it's one of the first indications of a factory work that we have is producing mass quantities of uniforms.
Okay. Sorry, I just need to throw on a hat real quick. It feels wrong not having a hat on at this moment. Thank you, Berkabeth. I really had a lot of fun doing the Cyberpunk fashion show. We might actually get back to that. But for now, we're doing Red Dead Redemption 2 fashion show with my dear friend Scooter here, who actually like knows a shit ton about this. So, but yeah, okay, there we go. Also,
now does he have like? Almost looks like he has wraps on over his boots, or are these two-tone boots?
Those are two-tone boots, I believe. But here, give me a second. I can take a look.
Gotcha.
I did also throw on. They have the option for gaiters as well. Pants, suspenders. Why can't I change my shoes? Pants, shirts, vests, coats, hats, outfits. I can't change my boots for some reason? Oh, because I have to scroll down because I'm dumb. There we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, two-tone, one-tone. So the worn Roper boots, Workman's boots, deluxe Relentless boots, Rambler boots, which I really like, just for the leather layering on the sides here.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Tootsies.
The one I've seen the most in the wild is the worn Roper boot. That is a pretty standard look on a real bona fide cowboy.
Yeah.
And I've known a few.
I mean, could you not consider yourself one?
I wouldn't consider myself a cowboy, no.
Okay. So real quick, I just wanted to note this.
Dutch?
Oh, fucking
I need
Dutch.
you to do me a favor. Nothing too serious. I need you to help Herr Strauss. I've been working hard, Dutch. I know. And I know Strauss's business is not too glamorous.
Sorry. So Dutch is.
Please, son, for me.
I'm hesitant to call him he's not a fop. He's not a dandy by any means, but he is someone who like really leans into his appearance, both like in a social context and in like an actual fashion context, to display how in charge and wealthy he perceives himself to be. And you'll see him change clothes more than anybody here. But the one thing that I really want to point out are these toggles here. Blew my mind as somebody who camps that like this is how they tension. It's so simple. It's so simple how these toggles work. Blows my fucking mind. I'm so stoked about this. And then we've got this bullshit over here, which is that drunkard over there's tent, which is an interesting choice.
I did historical camping for almost a decade. I can tell you from experience that those tensioners work wonders as long as you have the right angle to the stake. I've been in some extreme windstorms, rainstorms, winter weather, and not had my tent come up out of the ground with those, what we called in the historical camping community and historical reenacting community, peanut tensioners, because they're kind of shaped like a peanut.
Yeah.
With the two holes down the center.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, wait, can I it's like, it's something I can use today. Like I looked online, there's plenty of ways for me to just buy those. So before I walk over here, because I think they're going to start talking to us, I once got trapped by a guy for almost 2 hours at my retail job at an outdoor store in St. Louis, who wanted to talk to me about the Wild West. It is truly the most like stereotypical middle-aged man conversation about the West and the cult peacemaker and the canvas tents, and like the dude was just passionate, autistic, but I had great fun. We were closed, and eventually my manager was like came behind the guy and did the the cut it off thing, and I went wide-eyed because the guy was looking away at my manager, and I was like, I can't. I've tried. But this guy talked to me about like the tents for like 30 minutes. Hi, Vidmaster. Welcome. We're doing a Red Dead Redemption fashion show.
Hi there, Arthur.
Hi, Mary Beth.
Howdy.
So these girls are I don't want to use the word rescues. Cuz they have definitely they've come from a really hard place. And now work with the camp. And will occasionally go into a town or something and kind of pull a scam. But as you can see, Tilly is washing clothes. Mary Beth,
There, Arthur.
I'm staring at you. I'm sorry. You're just very pretty, and you've got very pretty clothes, and I want to talk about them. I'm going to sit here. It's going to be totally normal. Also, because they're women, they act as the therapist to the men here. You can actually sit down and they'll just be like, what's on your mind? And then Arthur will be like, I've just been killing a lot of people recently. And they're like, that sucks. Maybe don't. They do fit a lot of very stereotypical roles. But God, I wish I could get closer to Tilly's shoes. But I don't think I can. But would you those heels? Is that something that you could wear around a camp like this and be comfortable?
I've known it to be done. I've seen women pull that off in historical camping. It's not comfortable. No.
Okay.
But women's shoes historically and modernly have not been comfortable.
Sure.
The thing I'm noticing here that I love the look of here is that we've actually got two different eras and also two slightly different sort of, I guess, income levels or rural city clothes. The gal that's washing stuff in the wash tub, you said Tilly?
Yeah, Tilly Jackson.
Tilly Jackson. Okay. Tilly Jackson looks, based on the way they've got pleats in the jacket, the shape and style of everything, this has got a suit set aesthetic that was popular in the 1870s, 1880s, and 1890s. Wealthy women often wore what was called a polonaise, which was a 2 or 3 piece set. She's also most likely, based on the silhouette of the skirt, wearing what's called a corded petticoat, which is a petticoat that's sewn, has a stiff piece of rope sewn in the bottom to hold the bell shape of the skirt without it being rigid like a hoop skirt.
Gotcha.
So it can move freely around her. The number one cause of death for women between the years of 1860 and 1890 was fire. And that was because what women were wearing was multiple layers of cloth that were all very combustible. And they were dyed with very combustible materials that were usually not safe. The outer layers were. And they were wearing a rigid, hard wire interior level with petticoats. And the corded petticoat saved a lot of lives because it bends. So when you bend over to tend a fire, your skirt doesn't swing into the campfire, swing into the stove. because it's a soft fabric that moves. And in an actual hoop skirt, where it was often maintained with like a metal wire or even whalebone in some cases to hold its shape, if you bent over, you were just a giant bell for wicking flames up.
Whoa.
And it was a killer for a lot of women.
Yeah. By the way, a friend of mine who you desperately need to meet actually got their hands on a few like true blue whale bone corsets. Like some of them are like near tatters, but some of them are actually pretty well preserved. But I thought it was really, really cool to see.
That's awesome.
Especially because a lot of the like fencing stuff that we do nowadays in historical fencing is based around the idea that like, hey, yeah, you can go for a stab or a slash here, but you're probably going to hit bone, and not their bones, but a whale bone or something else that's going to get in the way. Including my favorite, which is in Bolognese fencing, when you bring your sword up over your head to do a strike, you bring it way up over your head so that you don't hit the feather on your cap, which is just fucking wild.
Hey, Arthur.
This is Karen. We love Karen. Karen fucking rules.
And to think I was once a damsel in distress, and now they got me protecting the men.
Just stay alert.
Oh, I shall do. And if
I really like
anyone
her hat.
tries anything, I'll blow their
Karen
heads
has
off.
got a walking skirt on. Her hair is cut short, which either means she was ill recently, or she was like, it's very rare. How to put this? When you get ill in the 1800s, women specifically often cut your hair because it was believed that a woman's hair, the maintenance of it, but also the growth of it, took a lot of the energy that you stored. And so to free up the energy to heal, they would cut the hair.
Did it work?
No, of course not. Of course not. But what we like about Karen here is she is wearing what looks to be, based on the cut, a men's overcoat. Yeah, men's overcoat. She's got what looks like a red Victorian walking skirt on, which means it's probably pleated in the back to give her more room to move. See how it's slightly longer in the back than it is in the front?
Damn. Yeah.
And she appears to not be wearing a shirt, which is showing off the corset a little bit, which is nice. This is a more, again, like I was saying earlier, this style of corset is a little more sculpted than you would have seen in the 1890s. What you're looking at is a little more 1940s, which was this idea of like, let's mold the shape of the boobies and then hoist them up. But up until the 40s, there wasn't a whole lot of like separation, lift and separate going on. Yeah. It was more condense.
Gotcha.
In historical fashion, the interesting thing is up until very recently in the 60s, and a little bit in the 20s too, but mostly in the 60s is when we see this idea that a woman's shape as it is naturally should be on display. And that's where a lot of the fat phobia and a lot of policing women's bodies starts. Up until that point, the whole purpose of undergarments was not necessarily just for comfort. It was to build the silhouette that was popular at the time. You could always take the body you were given and build it out in certain areas and suck it in others to match the shape at the time without hurting yourself. But in the 60s, we see this shift to a diet and exercise culture to make your actual body look the way that everybody else's does.
Gotcha. Okay, so what I'm trying to find here is when... Hopefully this won't spawn me into the mission, but... So that is technically still Act 2, kind of. Act 1, Act 2-ish.
Sure.
So to give you context for why they're there and not, like, chilling in the town nearby, and why they have such a makeshift camp, is that they are currently on the run from the police in the West. Like, they're being chased by mercenary bands and... Nope, this ain't it. Mercenary bands and the government as a whole. The whole point of this... thing, like, the whole point of the group is that the world around them that they knew, or they thought they knew, is shrinking fast. And the phrase, they don't want people like us no more, is said a lot. We're like, back in the day, like, finding outlaws or, like, being, you know, cattle rustlers and stuff like that, starting to go by the wayside because law enforcement and the expansion of the United States government is growing so drastically and pushing, you know, their quote-unquote kind out.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yes, okay, cool. Found it. All right. So this is Act 2 or 3, I can't remember. And this is where the gang is, I hesitate to say, a little more prosperous. Grab my horse, and then I will take us to camp. This town, actually, you know what? We can tour this town while we're here. And the moment that you have something that you can go on a diatribe about, so I can go to use the restroom, let me know. But this town is a it's representative of a post-Civil War South town. So roads, and then you've got 2 plantations here, which is our Romeo and Juliet story, the Braithwaites and the I can't remember the name of the other people. But yeah, these two, you know, there's 2 people here that have like a Romeo and Juliet sort of thing going on, but the 2 families fucking hate each other. There's something about Confederate gold going on there. This is in the state of Lemoyne, which is supposed to be more of the Confederate South. And just to give you a view of the map. So, south, the Saint Denis is basically representative of like the industrialized East. Obviously, the heartlands being kind of the Midwest Plains, your Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma. And then, you know, West Elizabeth starts to get into more your Colorados and whatnot. And then, you know, Ambarino up here is just all Rocky Mountains. I don't know. I guess these parts here, this is your Appalachia. I can't remember which one it is. Annesburg. This is your Appalachian, kind of like rainforest / Smoky Mountains. The 1880s to 1890s is also when the last of the continental U.S. territories became states. Thank you, Mabel. Smart chat. Damn. Scout, can I just take a second? I love my chat. They're so cool. And I was so worried when I started streaming, like, as a profession, that I would have to, like, constantly police them. I don't. They're really nice. And they're really smart.
It's true.
But anyways, yeah. So this, this is, it's not exactly super run down, but compared to maybe some of the other cities that are, like, building more buildings and seeing a lot of traffic and trade come through, you're starting to see the struggle set in here a little bit. But yeah, there's still a lot of pride happening for various different reasons. What are you wearing? What is that jacket? Is that a duster?
That actually appears to be that might be a Confederate coat.
Okay.
It's not cut quite right, but it's close to what you might see a wealthy white man in the South turn into his Confederate general's uniform.
Yeah. Hold on.
Sure. Well, thank you. Say where you
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you want to talk
This
about
is
this?
This is a good piece of fashion.
I'm going to go
Red.
use the restroom while you talk about this. I'll be right back.
All right, you're gonna miss the stuff you're gonna enjoy the most. He is wearing red, which means he was part of the infantry or artillery. The scroll work on his jacket is an indicator of not necessarily rank, but of wealth and position. There's a very good possibility that he is missing patches on his shoulder that would indicate that he was of a higher rank, and he is wearing a kepi. That is what that kind of cap is called. It is red, again, which indicates he was artillery. And the sorry state of his poor legs is most likely an indication that he was artillery as well. Artillery did not fare well. You were often targeted specifically by the opposing forces' artillery because in D&D you take the wizard out first in a battle on of the Union versus the Confederacy. You take out the artillery first. Big guns first. That's just what it is.
Sorry, Casey's begging for food that I may or may not have given him. Okay, actually, while I'm doing that, JD said looked like brocade fabric. Can you talk about what? First of all, what is brocade, and then what is jacquard?
So brocade and jacquard. I'm actually gonna double check and make sure that I know what I'm talking about, so I don't tell lies. But brocade is a raised textured fabric, where jacquard is a flat textured fabric, typically. They are both woven. They're not applique, which is when you would add something to the top of another piece of fabric. Traditionally, jacquard is silk or cotton. Brocade is often silk, but usually includes a metallic sheen from like a metallic thread. And the main difference between a jacquard and a brocade is the weight. Jacquard tends to be a lighter weight fabric, and brocade tends to be a heavy fabric. So the best way I could describe the difference between the two is often you will see a jacquard as like a tablecloth, like if you ever went to a community event at a town hall, at a church, anything like that in the 80s or 90s, and you saw those really like shiny tablecloths that had sort of a woven pattern to them that was like scroll worky, kind of wallpapery looking, that was probably a jacquard, versus a brocade is like the heavy kind of gilded looking fabric that's usually like a dark red with a gold or like a dark color with a light metallic color woven in that's raised, that you would see in like fantasy fashion at a Ren fair, for example. Those scrollwork pieces on his uniform jacket were probably stitched on. They have a name that I can't remember right now, but I used to know. And they would be considered an applique. And they would be stitched on or removed depending on changes in rank.
Ain't much you can do about that.
Gotcha. Okay. Also, this hat doesn't have it and correct me if I'm wrong, but back in the day, and I think still to this day, you'll see a lot of decorations on the top of, especially like Navy hats, like intertwined rope. And from what I understand, that was for the snipers up in the main top or the crow's nest to know not to shoot the dude with the rope on their head, like that design, because things got really messy from ship-to-ship combat. So they would wear like different designs on the top of the hats to kind of differentiate each other. Not sure if you've heard that before, but
that is an interesting concept. I do know that that kind of intricate knotwork brocade, you can find that on the top of more often Confederate than Union soldiers' kepi caps, which is what that's called, Kepi, as an indication of rank. Because the Confederacy did not have enough organization to come up with a uniform, they often put the insignia of rank on as an addendum. So stitching the scrollwork patterns or adding patches to the shoulders of the uniforms indicating rank was a quick, easy way to we're dealing with. But often for artillery or for fife and drum corps, there were bits of metal that were attached to the top of the hats that were like a gold raised metal that with a crossed sword or a cannon or a bugle to like indicate who you were.
Gotcha.
From a distance.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna head to camp real quick. Then we're gonna go into the city. Hopefully we don't run into any more Klansmen. Which I think is something that none of us, every time we step out of our houses, it would be very strange to see them here and where I live. In fact, I don't think they'd make it very long. No, get back on the horse. Get back on the horse. No, don't do the thing with the horse where you stick it in the ground for some reason.
Hey there, girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will also point out any cool horse stuff if we see it. I did see in the town we were just in a 6-up, I believe. Or maybe it was a 4-up. We passed it pretty quickly, but
I can go back.
you don't have to.
Yeah.
I was curious to see if it was a Boston harness or a more traditional pulling harness.
I can't remember what I named this horse. Because there was a couple that was like Jorse, Div Horse, horse but spelled with a W, H. I just try and stick to horse when I name my horses in this. And I kind of have a tendency to lose my mind when that happens. Yeah, how common were carts like this? You know, like, and let's just say anywhere between like 1850 and 1900. I know it's a shit ton of time, but like, you know, were they like costly? Were they common? Like, if your buddy had one, were they constantly called on to help people move shit?
They were pretty common. What we're looking at behind you there is a team of horses pulling a Conestoga that we just passed by.
This here? Whoop, sorry. Those two?
Yeah, up and around the corner. Yeah.
I didn't mean to, I'm sorry.
Are you running over people on purpose, or?
No, definitely not. No. I'm actually really nice to... So this game really dials in on the roleplay aspect of, like... And I don't like fucking with people just because I can in this game when I'm playing it, like, straight. There's a few playthroughs where I just become a psychotic asshole, but usually I try to, like, ride my horse at a normal speed through the city, try and not, like, piss people off. You know, it's very conducive to being a person in this universe as opposed to a player?
This is a pretty traditional setup that we've got going on. It's what we've got here is the two little. So we've got the pole running up the center, which attaches to the front of the collars. You've got the two little what are called eveners behind the horses. Those are those two little sticks that are sort of hanging off the center pole. Yep. Those are called the whole unit together is called a double tree. But the chains attached are called eveners. They allow the horses to have even gaits. They turn. They cheat a little bit as the horses move so that it doesn't just yank the cart around back and forth, causing an uneven gait.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are probably the game's best approximation of Belgian draft horses, which is what we have at home.
Belgian draft.
They are beautiful. Not as pretty as the ones that are out in the field right now at my house. But I'm biased.
I want to ride them. I've gone from like absolutely hating horses to like seriously wanting to ride one since I've met you. So.
Nah, I did something right.
Yeah. Anything else on the horses?
Let's see. This style of wagon, most people think of it as a Conestoga wagon, and that is true to some effect. Typically, Conestogas were bigger than this. This would probably be more considered actually the one that's coming up past us here would be considered a buckboard. Those were extremely common. You were asking earlier. Every farmer would have something like that to haul things in. And as you follow it up behind it, you see that it's basically built with two long, narrow benches in the back. So it can be used as a people mover or to haul things to and from market.
Gotcha.
It was really the kind of jack of all trades of wagons at the time. Okay. It couldn't perform any farm tasks necessarily, other than hauling things, but good solid wagon. And Studebaker made these before they made their first vehicles.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. Studebaker started as a wagon company. Several of the big names did. Most of them changed their names as they became car companies, but Studebaker maintained its name.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to ride into the city. And I'm going to take the scenic route, which is also the most dangerous route. But if you see anything that you want me to stop and talk about, let me know.
It's okay.
Never mind. That's somebody doing competitive shooting. Yeah. So this is bayou, marsh, swamp territory. I still need to learn the difference between marshes and like salt marshes and swamps and stuff. But there's actually a photographer in this game that's based off of a real photographer whose name is escaping me every time I think of him. But he did very, very famous photos of like before they were lost to civilization, America.
Are you thinking of Ansel Adams?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, there's basically an Ansel Adams character in this where you like help him not get fucking eaten by like gators and wolves and stuff. And especially the one where oh shit, hold on. Here, bud.
I need medicine.
I got you, bud. I got you. Here. But yeah, so like he talks about gators. and like Arthur hates them, you know. Oh, they're just giant dinosaurs, and you know, like, you know, why wouldn't we want to kill them all? And the guy's like, they've been around for so long and are like so vital to the environment, and the fact that they're all disappearing is a tragedy. And he's probably like the only person within 1,000 miles that shares that opinion of gators at this time. But I really like that Rockstar, the developers, went out of their way to like just point out like the loss of nature as civilization kind of crept through. Also, JD, you said this a long time ago. You said that you liked the front of the vest. I love it too. We're going to talk about that in just a minute as we go to the like biggest fashion center that I think has everything available except for the stuff made by the like outdoorsman clothing guy. There's like your standard fashion, like you'd see around the city or like towns, and then there is the wilderness one where it's like, hey, I cut up a bear and like maybe stitched a hood into it, or maybe I'm just wearing the bear straight, which I don't know how qualified you are with that sort of stuff, but we're gonna look at it another time if you want to do a part 2 of this, because I think there's a lot more to discover.
Sure.
This man sadly lost all 3 of his fellow quartet members. Very sad. Mr. Monopoly, hello. Mr. Monopoly, hello.
The boater hat was quite popular. I am not sure when it took popularity, but it's one of the first straw hats to really like settle into public consciousness, I guess. There were a lot of woven straw hats before this, hundreds of different variations over the centuries. But when you suggest that a man might be wearing a straw hat, everyone immediately thinks of a boater. I don't know why.
Yeah. By the way, it's very difficult to find very wide brim straw hats for men. And I'm not talking like quote unquote wide brim. I'm talking wide motherfucking brim. I want a big brim that covers my shoulders, but no, I can't have that because I'm a man. Better discriminated against hats. Hat discrimination.
A pleasure to see you again, sir.
Howdy, sir. Okay, so this... Honestly, we could spend 6 hours in this place.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind doing that either, not tonight. But again, if you are interested in continuing this, there is much
hang
to
on.
explore.
Turn back around towards the woman's figure
Over here?
in the window.
You'll find
In the front window, the red dress.
Right here in this
Okay, so they are establishing an era by saying this is the most recent like development in fashion. The shape of this dress, there is a reason it's called this, and it's probably obvious, but if you look at the shape of this dress from the side, it is what's called a lobster tail bustle, and it replaces the hoop skirt and the corded petticoat. No more do you have to wear something that covers the movement of the front of the legs. Instead, you just add a cage that really does look like a lobster's tail under the dress to give it a big poof at the back. And that changes the shape of fashion for a couple of decades. The boots next to the dress are called stovepipe boots. Those were very popular with men all throughout the 1800s. They were a very simple style to make and a very striking style to look at, especially paired with tucking in the pants into the boots. I actually used to own a pair of stovepipe mule ear cavalry boots from the 1880s that I wore with my historical costuming. I quit wearing them because they were 2 sizes too big. And I realized that they were from the 1880s, and I a 19-year-old girl should probably treat them with a bit more respect.
They were actually from the 1880s?
Correct.
Ah.
Now, let me have a look.
However,
shoes, though.
I'm a big proponent of what I call the Tasha Tudor method of preserving history, which is Tasha Tudor was a illustrator and a writer. She wrote children's books. The most famous of them were called the Corgyville books. She lived until, I think she died in 2006. But she wore clothes from the 1890s and early 1900s, Edwardian dresses, all her life. Real ones, not ones, reproduction pieces. Because she believed that the only way to remember history was to continue to live it and to have actionable ways in which you could share what really looked like. And for her, that was wearing clothes from the time.
Yeah, I do appreciate living history, which is why I think reenactments are really important. And preservation for things is important as well, because if there's the last of a certain thing and it's the only thing left, then maybe preserving it in a museum and studying it and making sure that you can maybe reproduce it. But if you've got enough, and especially if it's a piece of clothing that was very popular and can be recreated, 1-to-1, then wear it. I know this is a weird way to tie this in, but it's my same attitude with graffiti art, which is that all art is temporary, all of it. It all disappears, and that's okay sometimes. Just you can't hide that stuff away from everyone. You should show it off.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have two messages here. A knitter whose Patreon I'm in shared a video of her looking through a mail order catalog she had from her great-grandfather in 1970. Damn. If you can find that and post that in the Discord, that'd be amazing. And then Maple says 1870s to 1890s also had a political movement that were dominated by farmers and farmers' interests. They were mostly confined to the West and Midwest. They got a few electoral votes in the presidential election of 1892 Populist Party. Oh, cool. Okay. So, what we have here we have 21 options for boots and shoes. So,
certainly,
riding boots, and if you see anything that you really want to point out, just say so and I'll stop. We also have color options, so if you think something could be two-tone, I can switch that up. I do want you to talk about spurs after this.
Yeah,
and then I think we're going to have to end the stream, but...
Oh, sure.
Yeah. All right, so we've got the tornado boots, which, going back to the brocade versus jacquard versus... What is this called where you stitch in the pattern again? It's you draw with the thread.
I don't know what it's called when it comes to boots. I just know that it's often indicated by if you would reference this as with gold stitching, right?
Yeah.
It's not a I don't know if it has a term when it comes to boots. But
it's
I'll
not embroidery.
Look that up for next time. No, it's not embroidery in this case.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
What the fuck? Wait, how? How do you get into those? That is buck wild. So, here's where some of my expertise can kick in. You'll notice that the laces don't go all the way up towards the toe, typically because that's not necessary, especially in leather boots. Leather boots have a really great ability to stretch around wider feet. And given how often people would be on their feet would have a tendency to be wider back in the day.
If you have any questions, you just let me know.
But you'll notice that the laces start at kind of behind the bridge of the foot and then curve up above. This is the only stitching that really matters in the boot, because all you want is to lock that heel back. You want to lock the heel back, keep the heel down, and keep the heel back. That way your toe isn't touching the front, your bunion area isn't going to like rub and cause blisters. Like this shoe right here, I feel like would be phenomenal for hiking or just walking around because, I mean, the breathability is garbage because it's all leather, but it's going to keep that foot in place.
This style of boot is seen further and further into the 1900s as well. This sort of merges into the hunting boot and the aviator's boot, as well as women's boots in the 30s and 40s for like military.
Gotcha.
It moves that direction. This is the granddaddy in that regard.
Gotcha. Also, I don't know if these are specifically for riding horses, but like the super tall leather around the calves, like would be great for moving through brush or, you know, they're basically built-in gaiters, which I don't know why you wouldn't just wear
This
gaiters,
is this is most likely a hunting boot.
Yeah, it says sportsman boot, so I think
for like walking through, like on foot hunting, like
gotcha.
bird hunting, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Button lows. I mean, oh God, what's the phrase for it? Button hook. I think you would require a button hook to actually seal these.
Yes, there
the
are
only
certain
other
boots
time
that do require it.
the only other time I've ever heard people refer to button hooking is either boxing or tactical shooting, where a button hook is where you're on, like if you have your left shoulder to a door frame before you enter the room, and then you just do a U-turn around that door frame. That's called button hooking. But yeah, so you'd use a button hook to like grab this little dot, twirl it around, and then you'd have your button hook on.
These are a gentleman's boot. These are a city boot. These are an inside the plantation house boot. These are not a workman's boot.
Yeah,
typically.
And now we get to the preacher's boot, which is my favorite. I love these fucking boots, and in fact, like if I could get a pair of these, I would be pretty happy. The quilted stitch on the outside, like
they're gorgeous. I don't know why they're calling them a preacher's boot.
I don't either.
But they are quite lovely.
Oh, so good. The wingtip gators. Okay, so also, briefly, in Saint Denis, there is a large contingent of Italian immigrants, and they've brought with them, because this is a Rockstar game, the mafia. So we're going to start seeing a lot of like mafiosos type of like Goodfellas, not Goodfellas, Godfather sort of like early days.
Yeah.
Now, is this part right here can't be stretch fabric, can it? When did Elastic come out?
I think this is accurate for Elastic, but it would be. This is a little bit later than they're claiming it to be. If they're claiming late, let me double check.
Okay. Yeah, they're all the same color. Because like I've seen a lot of boots like this where you have that elastic outside that lets you basically get inside the boot without lacing them up.
Oh well, heck, I'm wrong by about 100 years. According to Dr. Google, elastic first came into the use in shoes in the 1830s.
Shit.
So plenty early for this.
There we go. So
yeah,
for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this black part right here is elastic, which we are now learning is far older than we thought it was. But you've seen these boots around, and like UGG makes these boots a lot. Sorel, Sorel, makes a shit ton of them. But yeah, that's the wingtip gators.
They're often called a Chelsea boot now. that
Yeah.
style with the elastic on the sides and a short, like an ankle high boot.
Yeah,
Or a Blundstone, JD Lady, absolutely.
correct.
They've been around for a really long time.
I get all sorts walking into this
Again, these are
establishment,
these
but
are
they
City
all
Slickers'
end up
shoe,
looking better when they
or
walk out.
as a cowpoke might call it, a dude's shoe.
Dude. Okay. Preacher's Pride, which I still don't know why they called them the Preacher's Boots. I kind of want to look it up now, but the weird curved toe. I don't get it, but I don't know if that's a fashion thing or function thing, but
so you can purchase with confidence.
Preacher's Pride, Workman's Boots. Looks like a canvas on the outside, leather, nothing too fancy. I forgot what the art of carving leather is called, but we've got it going on here. There, same.
Yep.
Take your time.
Yeah, now we're just getting down to aesthetics.
Yeah.
Cowboy boots, classic preacher's boots.
We're getting into traditional.
English preacher boots, classic roper boots, hunting fowler boots. Yeah. Deluxe relentless boots. All right, yeah, we've gone around in circles, so. Go back.
All right, you wanted to know about spurs.
Yeah, so let me
If you
pull
have any
up the Spurs
questions,
page.
you just let me know.
Now, I'm sure that everyone is familiar with Spurs as they go jingle, jangle, jingle. But
As you go
Perhaps.
riding merrily along.
merrily along, yeah.
People around
And they
here
say,
sing just for those.
ain't you glad you're single?
Well, I know they aren't very far from wrong.
Oh, I'm so happy I got you on stream. This is great. I'm so happy. Okay, so let's talk about Spurs. We'll just start from the top, but I can't get any closer, unfortunately. Hopefully everyone can see well enough. But these are the Gurdon Spurs. So why don't you give us the rundown on what Spurs are for, what they do?
Right. What spurs are for? Unfortunately, the West is not known for its patience, and patience is what's required to train a horse properly. But when you don't have patience, you use brute force, and that's what spurs are for. At least that is what
Please
spurs like
peruse
these
at
are
your leisure.
for.
I carry only
The
fine
bit
side.
at the back is called a rowel. The star-shaped bit. The longer the spines and the wider apart, the more painful they are. If you are a good rider who wants precision from your horse, you will wear a spur, but you will wear a spur with a rowel that is small. Either a single
I
stud,
take
like a single
pride in
ball
my
at the back
selection
with
here.
no
Everything
spikes,
here is of
or
exceptional quality.
actually a much bigger like wheel of spikes that are very close together, because this applies a distinct amount of pressure without pain. You're not going to hurt your horse as long as you are careful and you use them like a tool and not like a weapon. More often than
I
not,
only stock the best in my shop.
in the modern
Buy
world,
from
you
me,
can tell
and you'll never
a
be
horseman
disappointed.
from a show off by the style of their spurs. And more often than not, in the modern world, spurs have just become a collector's item because most people don't use them. So, at least
So-
not to this extent.
This looks more like what you were talking about in terms of like a more humane spur that maybe someone who
Yes.
wanted precision but didn't want to hurt their horse would
I
use.
stand
Yes.
behind
Yeah.
everything I sell in this place, so you
Yeah,
can
same with
purchase
this, I guess. It looks like
confidence.
these are a little more rounded. There is some spikies going on, but it doesn't like it would dig too deep. Neller. Yeah, spiky, super spiky. Super spiky. The Vaquero spurs. I like these.
Vaquero spurs are actually better because, like I said, they're a bigger
I only
disc
stock the
and
best
they're
in my
very
shop.
narrow,
Buy from
very
me,
close set
and you'll
tooth.
never be disappointed.
So they're a softer touch.
Thank you.
Sold.
Spurs are also. There are a few ways in which a person can show off their appreciation for good
That
art
is a local
as a
favorite.
cowboy.
Yes. Yeah.
One of them is spurs. And there are spur makers that are extremely collectible to the point where I have a friend who's since passed, whose wife still has his collection of spurs. But they are, I mean, if he sold them
stand
to
behind
collectors
everything I sell in this place, so you can
while he
purchase
was
with
still
confidence.
alive, he could have put all his grandkids through college, no problem.
Damn.
The same goes for saddles. There are certain saddle makers whose pieces are incredibly collectible, even lariats to an extent, and of course hats. But specifically, hats are not a surviving thing.
I
They
only
don't
stock the
last
best
very
in my
long,
shop.
and they're
Buy
crafted
from
for
me,
person to
and you'll
person.
never be
Where a
disappointed.
spur you can put on any boot, and a saddle you can put on any horse. Hat you can't put on any head. It just doesn't work that way. Not all heads are the same size, and so hats don't often survive
Every hat
historically
style
in
you
a
could
historic
want,
context
all of
in
a
the same
quality
way
that
that
commands
boots,
respect.
spurs, saddles do.
So I would love to go another hour on hats and the rest of this because there is so much more to cover. But unfortunately, I'm going to force myself to stop for your sake, and for mine. Also, somebody said they like the front of the vest. This is like a French pattern, so says the game. I'm buying whatever. I'm going to buy this pattern as close as possible, this vest pattern, and make my own vest. I'm making this. I want this. I want this and the purple shirt. I'm making both of those.
That is a brocade. That's a classic brocade.
Yeah, I am going to make a brocade vest and this shirt, and I'm going to look so fucking good. But Scooter, thank you so much for stopping by and giving us a panoply of a very specific time in history when the world was a changin'. And your knowledge is invaluable, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Anytime. Thank you all so much for joining me. We're gonna raid out because I remembered to do that, right?
If you have any questions, just let me know.
And yeah, thank you all so much. Sorry, the tags in this person's stream that we're rating are English, Omegaverse, Mpreg, and Charity. We've already rated Vine before, so we're just gonna do it again. But yeah. I will see you all tomorrow night for the more drawing of the made pasta. Scout, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I'm making the a made cafe outfit for the pasta model.
Fantastic.
But all right. Remember, the message is consider the possibilities. Thank you all so much for watching. I am starting the raid now. Hop in. Get in. Everybody, go. Go.
I stand behind everything I sell in this
All right, 4
place,
viewers in.
so you can purchase with confidence.
Good enough. We're good to go.